Vanakkam, Namaste, and blessings to everyone. This is the Sky Priestess. Basically, over the next 24 hours, we need to be aware of Venus opposing the Great Attractor in Sagittarius while squaring Neptune in Pisces. Venus herself is in Gemini at this time. Making a very long story very short, Neptune in Pisces asks us to look honestly and transparently at our spiritual experiences and to question ourselves whether what we are seeing or what we think we are seeing is truly what is there, or whether it is simply a form of ego, self-deception, and illusion. The Great Attractor in Sagittarius is a gravitational anomaly in space. What that asks us to be mindful of is how we actually respond to the path of truth. Whether we feel instinctively drawn towards the teachings, philosophies, paradigms, sometimes even countries or courses of study, which are really going to take us further and forward on our desired spiritual path and journey. Sometimes we sneer at that which we actually really need to be looking at the whole time, and sometimes we embrace that which actually holds us back from realizing our true path and purpose and destination, or rather the way to get there. So Neptune in Pisces and the Great Attractor in Sagittarius make us ask these very, very large questions in and of themselves. As Venus and Gemini aspect both these bodies, what we are then asked is to consider a third factor: how our spiritual paths, how our spiritual experiences, how our conceptual maps of the world and the way we navigate it, and how our lenses of perception and filters of interpretation of spiritual events actually relate to material reality, because Venus relates to the material world. She looks at all that is embodied. She also deals with the way in which we embody and embrace the energy of the feminine. She is, in the sense, she is rather the being that allows spirit to be manifested in physical form and physical flesh. So this is a great time for us to be looking at matter and how it matters. What is the conceptual language or philosophy or paradigm that allows us to think about and engage in the material world? And what is the spiritual experience that allows us to do the same in its own language and in its own way? One asks us to navigate the question through the mind, and the other asks us to navigate the question through the pure experience of spirit and essence. Venus, being in Gemini, asks, or rather gives us the tool of the conscious personal mind, and allows us to use techniques that involve written or spoken language, whether it's speaking, writing, singing, screaming. It allows us to actually discover catharsis through the expression of the throat chakra. So if you are feeling stuck at this time, grab a piece of pen and paper and start writing, or get your phone out and start recording, and just let your energy express and articulate what you are feeling so that you can actually arrive at your personal truth. Now, this is going to be, in some sense, I wouldn't call it a struggle, but an opportunity to find truth at different levels. One is a vision of truth that is relevant to your immediate personal sphere, your immediate personal life, and another is a version of truth that relates more to the grand picture, what we are as a collective doing. And that's the best way that I can describe the three energies coming together. So the triggers or catalysts that are going to bring this alignment into realization in your life are likely to come from teachers, pathways, paradigms, that's Sagittarius, spiritual experiences that defy conventional understanding and logic, that is the Piscean influence. You can feel deeply inspired or perhaps even deeply disconnected from spirit. It all depends on how you've navigated your journey thus far. And of course, with Venus and Gemini, it relates to our partners, whether it's a personal partner, whether it's a professional partner. It also relates to the things that we feel that we own, the things that we buy or have in our lives to express a certain sense of value, sense of ideals, perhaps even a sense of justice in our lives. We are also asked to look at the way in which we honor the feminine and the way we conceptualize her existence in the world and in our day-to-day lives. A lot of this will also involve looking back at scripts surrounding all of these themes, which we internalized during our earliest childhood years. So that's about it. It's a big alignment. Some of you will soar through it, some of you will sleep through it, because Neptune makes sleep a very good option at this time, as you are still processing as you sleep, and some of you will be struggling. But no matter what you do, remember that staying grounded, staying discerning, and staying centered is your toolkit. to address any and all spiritual problems, or rather or spiritual challenges. This is in some sense the baseline that any and all spiritual seekers and facilitators need to have. When you are feeling ungrounded, go back to ground. Work with the root chakra, work with the energies of the depths of the earth and the nurturing heart fire of her core and center. Discernment is something which isn't just about the upper chakras. It is about seeing whether the truth of what you perceive above reflects the truth of the below, whether the idealized truth that you aspire to reflects the embodied practice and actions of the everyday. Use your body as your compass, let it guide you when all else is in doubt. And centering is a lovely exercise that allows you to pull your energy center back to your center, back into your being. Very often those in the spiritual arts tend to project their energy centers outside of themselves, which leaves them vulnerable to attack, or sometimes which leaves them more likely to feel tired, overexerted. So whichever strategy, whichever approach works for you, go with that. Amber is a wonderful gemstone at this time to use for those who want to connect with that central spark, that central life force. Meditations involving the great central sun would be very, very powerful at this time. If you are working with anyone or any facilitators today or tomorrow, these are going to be very significant events for you. And just keep a watchful eye over what occurs. Remember to journal, remember to write, speak, sing, scream, hopefully not at another person, maybe into a pillow, that might be better. And just see what emerges for you. So take care. God is blessed. Ciao, ciao for now.